All right, and welcome to both mics. I am Mike Sofka, and that is
Mike Taylor. Welcome, folks.
That's correct. That's correct. Both mics. This is a show about
everything, nothing
and everything. That's right. You win the prize today. Good job. Good job.
Episode. What are we up to? We up to like 15?
15. How are you today, Mike?
I'm good. How are you, Mike?
I am wonderful. Thank you.
Glad to hear. Glad to hear. How's the beard coming along?
I think about it nightly. That's how I grow it. I just concentrate real hard. Sometimes I do it in the darkness, just me in a room and my beard. I just sit there and concentrate.
It looks like you got the darkness and then you got the fading here, but it looks like it's more faded down here.
Yeah, what happens is it keeps breaking off. You keep losing hairs, and I don't know, there's only 4 million on my face or something, but I keep losing them and it makes it look thinner on the bottom.
Yeah, well, the thinner is obvious. That's going to work. It looks gray. It looks white.
Yeah, I might have to do one of these or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Get some beads in there.
No. Hey, I know it's been a relatively light news week, but there's something that was funny that caught my eye here, and it's from your most recent state of residence before Florida here in Texas. According to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, a breakfast burrito catches TSA agents' attention. An ingredient in that burrito led to that person's arrest. Can you guess what the ingredient was?
Let's see. A burrito.
Breakfast burrito. One ingredient in that breakfast burrito led to this guy getting arrested. He couldn't get on the plane.
Cannabis?
No, crack cocaine.
Hey.
Yes.
I get my crack burritos all the time.
Yeah. Apparently, he thought this out. Get a breakfast burrito at the airport, I guess. Take some of move the middle parts around, take your crack and put it in the middle in a baggie and put the rest of the burrito, wrap it back up and send it through with your stuff. Bing, bang, boom, like nothing.
I'm guessing a dog signaled on it?
No, they thought it looked funny on the x-ray. Somebody actually picked it up on the x-ray. They identified something in the burrito as being a large organic mass. And it appeared to have like tape or something around it. And that's what it was. It was like a plastic bag with black electrical tape around it inside the burrito. Yeah.
I ever tell you my banana story?
Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. And I'm corrected. It was crystal meth, not crack. I don't want to at mics here over this.
Right. Yeah. I hear you.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
I ever tell you my banana story?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Working for a supermarket, produce manager. I'm in the back. Got my little podium, doing my paperwork. And I had a part-timer. His name was Joe Kerr.
Nice.
Joe Kerr. That was his real name.
Nice.
Hi, Joe. And so he goes back. He goes, "Tell me you're pulling my leg." What are you talking about? He goes, tell me you're joking. You're pulling my leg, right? I go, no, Joe. What's going on? He goes, come here. We walk out to the aisle, and we used to, well, it wasn't bananas with plantains, same thing, only different. And they come in 40-pound boxes, and there's probably 80 or so of these plantains all stacked inside this box. Well, we were in a neighborhood where we went through a lot of plantains, and we had a display probably 3 feet wide, and we used to just dump cases of these plantains all over the place. We'd straighten them out, make them look nice, people would take them away. And we go over to the display, he grabs the box, and he pulls it up, and he goes, "Tell me that's a joke." About 8 inches by 8 inches by 2 inches. Brown bag, cellophane, masking tape.
Wow.
And I go, no, definitely not a joke. Definitely not a joke.
Wow.
So I go, open up all the other cases, open them all up. And sure enough, there were 2 or 3, and they were about 8 inches, 2, all wrapped up. Hello, 911. And of course, we're like, what should we do with it? What should we do? Like, we could get to a lot of money for this. And it will come out, like, what are you going to do with it? You have something like that, say it's worth $10,000. And we're literally 20 miles from New York City. Am I going to go down there and say, heroin dealer, anyone? Is there a heroin dealer around? Go to 168th by the Big Rock, and someone would rather shoot you, put a bullet in your head, take it from you, than pay you any money for it. So for a straight-laced guy like you and me, what the frick are we going to do with it?
And not for nothing, but this story would have had a lot better ending had you done that. I'm just saying.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, of course, call the police. They come on by, they grab the stuff, and they test it. Sure enough, positive for heroin.
Wow.
Yeah, it was probably a 2-pound brick, and it was 2 or 3 of them. So I have no idea what the street value would have been, but.
Well, hang on, I'll tell you right now.
One of my many wild, strange adventures in my life. Wait, are you Googling it or?
Yeah, I'm Googling it, so this should be interesting.
Are you on the dark web or like just regular Google?
Hang on, I'm a regular Google.
Regular Google? Interesting.
I think I'm on regular Google. I'm on the wrong keyboard. Hold on a second here.
It depends. Is there a knock on the door?
Now I'm looking for street value, not the dealer value. Let's see here. Well, 12 pounds of heroin had a street value of 12 million. So I would think 2 pounds had a street value of 2 million.
Wow. Well,
that was your chance. You hit the lottery. That you're never going to hit the lottery. Don't ever play it. That was your chance. That was it.
That was 1998.
98. So it was before Sopranos, so you couldn't even call those guys.
Did you know that Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini, went to the same high school as me?
See? You had it in. You had a connection right there.
I had to look him up in the yearbook.
Yeah, that was the icebreaker. Oh. Hey, do you use an Apple or an Android? You use an Apple?
Me? Android.
Android. Yeah, that's right. Apple says they're going to start selling iPhones without the power adapters, and that will save 861,000 tons of metal.
Well, no, it won't save anything.
Exactly.
People are still going to need them. People are still going to use them. Right? If I buy an iPhone and it comes with 3 charger adapter things, right? Eventually, I'm going to use them all.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, what they're saying is they're going to increase their profit margin by reducing their pack size, like all the food people do.
Yes, exactly.
I don't understand. I get it. Sometimes, like an Android recently, the plug-in is the same. It's kind of universal. And Apple's the same way. But like every 8 to 10 years or so, 7 to 10 years, I guess they switch it up a little bit maybe, and you have to get another one.
Planned obsolescence. Yeah. So this way, you buy the phone and it's actually an ounce lighter. And they ship over 1 million of these phones from China to the United States. And now their shipment's 1 million ounces lighter. It's like the company I used to work for. They actually had a program called We At and the company name. And they wanted you every year to come up with 2 ideas to save them money, or to save money for you, for them, and if it was profitable, they would cut you in on the action. So I came up with
what, a Dunkin' Donuts coffee gift card?
Well, the one I actually profited on, I got $300.
Okay, well that's not bad.
Laying on the ground when you pick it up, yeah. Out of the 8 years I worked there, and all the ideas I handed over that I had to because it was part of my job every year. $300, $325, no big deal. I've also had ideas stolen from me where people made thousands, but what can I say?
I was going to say it probably ended up saving the company millions of dollars. You just don't know it.
And that's the thing. They want you to, it saved like 2 minutes. So 2 minutes per transaction that you do. And, they do thousands of transactions like this a month. And so 2 times thousands saves thousands of minutes, which actually costs something. And it's called optimizing your department. And, yeah, optimizing. So that in itself saves the company money. So they throw you a bone. But what's weird is my boss's boss's boss gets to collect everybody's ideas, and she gets to claim it as her own idea. And as she saves the money, and it has some specific name, I don't even remember off the top of my head. But, you know, if your project cost $1 million to run a year, and all of a sudden you get all these ideas, and on paper you're saving the company 100 here, 100 there, couple, 100,000 here, a couple 100,000 there, and you're saving $200 million or $2 million. Well, how can that be? On paper, you're saving $2 million, but your project is only $1 million. It's very bizarre how they work that.
Well, I give them credit. I mean, they're doing the right thing, it sounds like, but at the same time, I don't know. Now, did you have to? Was it a requirement that you had to do this?
Yeah, the funny thing is, it was 1.5 ideas a year.
So did you make them come back for the second half of the second one, or?
Well, and the thing is I guess it's one of those check marks they put on your annual review. And I've done it where I've done 1, I've done 2, I've done 3. It never made a difference.
What you do on the half one, like you give them your idea, and then on the one that's in half, you say, I know a way we can save $2 million. Tell you next year on the other half.
Pay me now, and I'll tell you.
Yes.
I'll tell you though, good company though. As much as you want to bitch about working 9 to 5, it was actually a really good company in comparison to the company I work for now. The company I work for now is the same exact type of company, and it's just it's like the redheaded stepchild of the other company. I just don't get it.
Nice.
The remote working thing, I don't know. It seems like it's they're flying by the seat of their pants. Whatever.
Wow.
I got paid yesterday, so that's all that counts.
Okay. Well, I'm sure all the people that you work with are watching and listening, and now have a different view.
And they're like,
Yeah. Speaking of $2 million, $2 million was in the news today. A judge has ordered in a class action lawsuit hundreds of Fire, F-I-R-E, but it's spelled F-Y-R-E, Fire Festival ticket holders. They're poised to win the payout in the class action lawsuit. Do you remember this story?
I remember hearing it on another podcast, and they went into detail about this. This guy had a racket going. Actually, no, I saw a documentary on it. I saw a documentary on like Amazon Prime or something. Yeah, I think it was Prime. It might have been the other one with an N, Netflix. But yeah, it was interesting for sure. The racket they had, and they had it. I don't know if it was very close to a Ponzi scheme or something, but they had people hanging on to the last minute, and then it just never happened. It was supposed to be like the concert event, to compare it to the US Festival in Woodstock.
Well, according to this thing here on NPR of all places, yeah, right. This guy Billy McFarland, who's gone to jail already over this. Wow. Apparently, what this was, and this is a quote from NPR, he had hawked a life-changing paradisical. There's a good word for you. Paradisical music festival for well-heeled patrons to attend that take place in the Bahamas in late April and early May 2017. Instead, the festival, which carried ticket prices of up to $12,000 a piece, collapsed in chaos, launching a parade of dumpster fire jokes and social media commentary as hopeful festival goers and vendors alike realized that they had been bilked. Apparently, some of these people had some people didn't find out until they got to the Bahamas. They flew there, and let alone first-class accommodations and all this. They had nothing. They didn't even have the basic needs. They didn't have a room. They didn't have food. They didn't have nothing. Yeah, well, can you imagine?
And on top of that, the island that they had it on did not have commercial flights going to it. So they had like Nassau and then like puddle jump to Nowhere Key. And this guy, he was setting things up, they just couldn't get it done on time. You know, it was a mess.
I'm just ashamed I didn't think of it.
You have an affection for going to jail?
No, I'm just kidding.
Or did he actually make some money on it or something?
Yeah, that would be cool though to host a festival or do a festival or have a festival. I don't know if those days are coming back. I've seen festival tickets on sale, music festivals and so forth, but I haven't. Until I see that actually happen, and I'm not going to believe it.
Well, I have the Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison, Joan Jett tickets. I had Orlando ones. I sold them because they put a San Antonio show on. So I bought San Antonio ones, and then we moved, and I refunded on those. And then actually tomorrow we're going to the naval base here, and they have a Ticketron, Ticketmaster outlet thing there. And I guess they do discounts of some sort. So we're going to try to get our Jacksonville tickets then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that sounds good. Yeah, I had some opportunities to pick up some other tickets for August show and then for an October show. And I don't trust anything still right now. There's a lot of open-ended stuff going on, and I know how it should be, but how it is not how it should be. And it's really upsetting because you know me, I like going to shows. I like going to live music, whether it's a small club, a large festival, whatever. That's what I like to do.
Yeah, my last show was Slaughter on the Monsters Rock Cruise, February 13th, 2020. You know, and that was like a show 11 o'clock at night. One of probably 30 shows I saw in 5 days. So.
Well, hopefully we'll be back to some semblance of what I consider normal. Hey, we have friends of ours that live in Seattle, and apparently it's a big deal. I didn't check the weather. I'm probably not going to do it now, but they say it could reach 80 degrees this weekend, and I'm like, okay, that was a headline. Seattle could reach 80 degrees this weekend. It goes on in the rest of the headline to say, with the Lyrid meteor shower viewing opportunity. I don't see how temperature has to do with you seeing this meteor shower, but they're calling that unseasonably warm conditions in that region.
Yeah. For August, it's unseasonably.
I just take it for granted, I guess, that it's April and I've been walking around since last April in shorts and a t-shirt. Is it really that cold everywhere else? I'm spoiled.
Yeah, no, dude, really? Come on. Have you ever what was the last time you got out of the shower and you were like,
I couldn't tell you.
Cold. Yeah. You go for months like that up north. It's horrible, you know.
The National Weather Service says Seattle is currently predicting that today, this day, they were going to reach 70 for the first time this year. Again, it's not news to me, but hey, did you hear this? Russia's going back to the moon.
Really? Where'd they get that idea from?
I don't know. Something called Luna 25 is scheduled to launch this October, ending their 45-year drought on Russian moon landings. They're probably going up there to take our flag down and put their flag in there.
Yeah, right. Now, is it a manned space flight?
Not at first, I don't think, but that's part of the process. They are going to send men to the moon. Let me be politically correct. Human beings to the moon.
Yeah, and well, I heard that our flag obviously is up there, and they have to obviously put a stick out to the side so it stays, flying or flowing, or so it appears to be flowing.
And they got the shadowing right on, when they did that post-production imaging in the Universal Studios of Hollywood. The shadows are good.
But it's my understanding that the flag, since it has like no UV protection, it's probably completely white by now. All the sun rays have just faded out all the colors.
That's racist.
Sorry. Send your emails too.
Yes, yes. Well, here's the thing, and I said this jokingly before because, part of me still believes that we didn't make it to the moon, that we didn't get there. But part of me really does. The part of me that doesn't is because I visited the place. It's a place in New Mexico. It's a state park area that they claim that the moon landing was filmed there. But most recently, I did see a documentary somewhere clicking around about the moon landing thing. And they were saying that Stanley Kubrick directed the moon landing. And he is the sole possessor of one of 3 cameras. Like, he's the only guy who's not the government head NASA film department people that had these special cameras. And if you remember, well, you and I don't remember, we're only a couple years old, but at around that same time, just after the moon landing, and I'm using air quotes here, the movie that he did, 2001 Space Odyssey, came out. Yeah. And there's some duality there. And it was NASA knowing he was working on a project like that and more or less giving him this super camera for this type of filming that they're doing. And then in exchange, he would do that and he would get this camera and then he can make 2001 Space Odyssey. I'll have to come a little stronger next time with some more information about that. I didn't have that planned for today. It just popped in my head. But I mean, if you think about it, do you think it's plausible that we did not go to the moon? Or do you think it's absolutely 100% no denying we went?
It's plausible. Yeah, to say 100%, no, you would actually have to be there to say 100%.
Right. Well, we're dealing with the government. We're dealing with governments.
Yeah.
So crazy stuff. I guess we're going to have to learn Russian because, they're saying that we're going to put a base on the moon and use that as another launch pad to like go to Mars or whatever.
Yeah. Yep. That's the understanding.
And then there's some backline audio of some of the astronauts relaying to Houston or Space Command, whatever, launch control, whatever they call it, mission control. There's some backline audio where the astronauts are speaking about they're here, they're just over the who's there? Who? Supposedly there's audio of them talking about other beings or seeing UFOs and so forth. So I still think there's more to the whole story. If we did go to the moon, I think there's more to the story. There's something going on. Yeah. I don't think there's reason to go to the moon after we were just there 45 years ago. Right. If there was something so important that we needed to be at the moon, we would have been back already.
Right. And that's my thought too. Like, why now? But the whole launch pad thing to Mars that's a possibility. But why now? Why not 20 years ago? What makes it so important to go there now? If we were able to do it in 1968, in 1969, why all this other stuff in between? If Mars was so important.
I don't know, but it's funny we're talking about launch pads because SpaceX is set to build a huge launch tower, and this is going to be in Europe somewhere. They haven't announced the final thing. They say it's in mainland Europe. It's going to be a launch pad. I don't understand all the ins and outs in it, but it's part has to do with their Starship launch system. So SpaceX has received approval from the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, to go forward with the construction. So I guess they've passed all the clearinghouse stages, and now it's just a matter of putting it in. They won't probably announce everything till it's done. I'm sure somewhere in Europe they know what's going on. They're all excited over there.
That's odd.
Yeah, it's odd because I thought that most of that stuff was happening here.
Yeah, I don't know what the advantage would be to do it there. I guess there's something,
Well, I guess the thought is it's a big globe, and it's almost like did you ever jump the carousel when you were a kid at the carnival or whatever? Jump on a ride?
Yeah.
If you're coming back, it's the same thing, I guess. The Earth is spinning and moving, and you can't stop and wait for the next go round. You're coming in.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So maybe having a place in Europe, maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's part of the globalization of the space industry too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Speaking of space industry, there's good news for when we do send astronauts to Mars. This is according to the Daily Mail. Astronauts who died during Mars mission could be buried on the red planet, sent to an eternal orbit around its atmosphere, or eaten by crew members.
What?
Yes, they're saying that this is a possibility.
So is this going to be on your job application? Are you okay with cannibalism? Guys, we need to have a meeting, and yeah, if one of you goes, I go for the thigh. I get the thigh. Yeah.
And you know the thing I like about this whole mission to Mars and everything, SpaceX CEO Elon Musk once said, "If you want to go to Mars, prepare to die." What? It's not exactly a I want to apply to be an astronaut to go on that. I don't get it. Prepare to die. Why would you say that? Is he protecting himself from a lawsuit?
Probably, and I don't know, it's obvious that he's not going to die going to Mars. He's just going to foot the bill.
If a crew member dies while making the more than 170 million mile journey to Mars, the body can be placed in cold storage or freeze dried until the craft touches down. Freeze drying. Remember they used to have freeze dried coffee? This Folgers crystals used to come in the whole thing. Yeah.
My grandma used to drink Taster's Choice.
Yeah, Taster's Choice. That's what I mean. Yeah. Anyway, I don't understand that's an option. That's almost, you always see that like in the movies where they're stuck on a mountain somewhere and it's cold and they're going to be up there like they can't walk down or whatever, and they're going to eat the guy who just died.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess when it comes to life or death, I guess all the rules change. They all go out the window. Being civilized just doesn't matter. It's all a matter of staying alive and anything you can do that.
So if you're from a country that, without trying to label anybody, trying to be general here, but let's say you're from a country that their food usually utilizes hot sauce. Does that mean if you have to eat that astronaut, he's a little bit spicier than the other ones?
Probably so.
We're heading down a dangerous path here.
There's people that like to eat a lot of curry.
There you go.
And you can tell when they walk by, like, okay, hey, that particular person just had curry. When Brenda and I got back together, she was taking garlic pills.
Yeah.
It would get towards the end of the day, and like the garlic would be coming like out of her pores, and it was like it was bad. I'm like, I finally had to say something to her, And it's not like here we are 10 years later, but it was just like in the beginning process of getting back together, and it was like, what's up? And yeah, she oh, I take garlic pills, Mama. Maybe it's that. I'm like, damn it, I hope so.
Well, it's funny because maybe a year ago or so, I picked up somewhere that eating garlic so many times, like a certain portion each day is good for you with inflammation and pain and all these other things. And I started doing it, and I thought maybe I'm getting somewhere, I don't know. And I was doing it like every day. I was and part of my Eastern European heritage that, that at big festival parties and gatherings and so forth, garlic is an option just by itself, the garlic cloves. So I was doing the same thing. I was actually eating the raw garlic or the roasted garlic, and I had all these different ways to prepare it. And Lisa did the same thing. She had to say something. She was like, yeah, this ain't working for me. It may be working for you.
You stink like a hellhole.
Yeah, I had no vampires around me, though, the whole time. That was a wonderful thing.
That's good. No goth chicks hanging out at the house anymore?
Well, I didn't say that.
Nice.
So, did you ever watch that cartoon TV show, or at least are you aware of it, South Park?
Yeah, of course. First episode I ever saw was the, flipping through the channels, see this cartoon, and I see this little piece of poo. singing Christmas carols. And I'm like, what the heck is this? Yeah.
Well, they have an episode or a couple episodes where they refer to alien invaders as crab people, and they live underneath the surface of the earth, and they're really controlling stuff, and they're controlling people in disguise, and they're crab people, and they look like crabs. Well, there must be something to that, because we're getting giant radio pulses and X-ray surges coming from the Crab Nebula. Is that where crab people come from? Is my first question. The Crab Nebula, 6,500 light years away in the Taurus constellation.
Oh, interesting. Now, is that crab with a C or a K?
C.
C, huh?
Well, if it was with a K, it would be imitation crab, I guess. You know, you ever read the ingredients on that stuff? It's like fish parts, water, and I'm like, fish parts? What's a fish part?
Sawdust.
No, but this.
I consider eating it, so I wouldn't even consider reading what's in it. Don't matter. Doesn't care. Don't care.
It's a pulsar, and it's a star that spins 30 times a second and is considered to be one of the brightest pulsars, emitting light in X-rays and radio wavelengths that's visible in our sky. When those beams of light sweep by Earth, scientists can catalog those pulses and determine whether it's a pulsar or not. Yada yada. They've discovered there's some sort of something coming out of that nebula. So I don't know. Maybe it's the crab people. You know, the guy from The Simpsons was telling futuristic stories a long time ago with stuff came true. Maybe South Park is the same way with the crab people.
Right. Yeah, I haven't seen South Park in years. You know. By
the way, it's only, again, 6 light years away, and a light year is 6 trillion miles. So it's 36 trillion miles from here. Wow. It's right around the corner.
Now, if you're driving in a car and you're going the speed of light, you turn your headlights on. Do they shine?
I don't think so. I think they stay with you. That's like my other thing. You know, a lot of times if you're in an airplane, airplanes go what, 4, 5, 6, 700 miles an hour? If you're in first class and you jump in the air, will you fly back to the rear?
I don't know. I
can tell you the answer if you want it, or you want to guess. I know the answer.
I'm guessing it's no, because you're in a sealed container, and you know the force of friction in the air is not, you know, with you.
Ding ding ding! You're traveling at the same speed as the plane. That's cool. But in theory, though, it makes sense, doesn't it? That if you jumped in the air.
Now here's the thing: you're in an airplane. Can you run faster to the back of the airplane than you can to the front of the airplane?
See, that would make sense to me as well.
Well, if you're running from the back of the plane to the front of the plane, and the plane is going 400 miles an hour, and you're running 5 miles an hour, are you really running 405 miles an hour?
That's pretty fast. I think you can get an NFL contract like that.
Right? Yeah, no. It ain't happening. Ain't happening.
Sure, this thing about the Kristen Smart case. Do you know what I'm talking about here?
Smart. Yeah. Was she kidnapped? Is that one of the kidnapping girls?
Yeah, something in California. A guy who's a podcaster led the cops to the arrest in California in a cold case killing. He has a podcast. This cat, Chris Lambert, has a podcast, and he focuses on these things. He focuses on cold cases, and he interviews possible suspects, witnesses, what have you, affiliated with these cold cases. And sometimes they're not even public. So I don't know how he's doing this or what he's doing, but I think it said recently here. Let me try to find it here. Oh, here. His 8-part series, Your Own Backyard, has 7.5 million downloads just on Thursday. It was the number 2 podcast on iTunes.
Number 1 being Rogan?
I guess, but I'm thinking we need to go down to the sheriff's office and say, hey, give me all your stuff you can't figure out. We're going to work on this. And I'd like to get 7.5 million downloads. That would be pretty cool.
That would work, yeah. It would possibly pay the rent.
He asked why he did it. He said it was driving him insane. He would drive by and see the billboards about these cases. He would, read about these things in the paper. This is a guy who's 33, was just 8 years old when this Kristen Smart vanished.
Okay. I'm trying to think. I know the last name's Smart. something else is up with that. I don't know. But she was kidnapped and killed.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, Brenda watches a lot of those 48 Hours and CSIs and Forensic Files. It drives me nuts. I try to stay away from hour-long programs. You know, I got things to do. I got stuff to do.
Yeah, I get it. I used to be like that. I used to like some of those shows occasionally, but they're all the same.
Yeah.
It's the same format, you know, and I get it, you know, that's the formula. That's what works, you know, don't change it. But it just feels like I'm always watching the same show, you know, the same thing. Oh, he was the nicest neighbor. I would have never thought that. Well, duh.
She says she likes to watch it because she wants to see if she can figure it out before the end of the show. Because usually they'll go in one direction and they'll zag another way and they'll go back this way and it was the butler, you know. And she said she likes to figure it out beforehand. But
maybe she's trying to get some ideas on how to get away with something.
Yeah,
better be careful, Mike.
She's. But we've been watching lately, and I don't know how I mistakenly came across this show called Bar Rescue.
Yeah.
It's been on for like 8 years.
Yeah.
What? Like 4 months ago we found it. So we DVR'd, and we'll watch one every night. And they did in Florida, Edgewater, the No Name Saloon. I don't know if you've ever been there. I've seen Vince Neil there once. Right on 1 or A1A, one of those, but right on Edgewater. And it was a dive bar, biker bar then, and
Vince Neil was in there as a customer or performer?
He was a performer. We went during Bike Week 1 year, 20 years ago. And they did a place in Sanford too. So kind of cool. Oh, they did a place in Davenport also, right by my mom's house. And I like Googling, seeing if the place is still in business.
I like the guy, the chef guy, the guy that's always yelling with the English accent. It's raw. It's booty raw. What's that guy? Now I'm gonna have to Google it again.
Again?
Yeah, because it's gonna bother me.
Okay. Well, they get the chef with the blue hair too. He's kind of.
Gordon Ramsay. That's the guy I'm thinking of.
I'm like, Gordon Ramsay's not on Bar Rescue.
No, he had a show similar to that. He would visit these mom and pop restaurants, and in 24 hours or in 2 days or 3 days, he would turn them around. Usually mom and pop are the owner operator and they don't do it well, or they're set in their ways, or the staff is stealing and there's moldy food in the back and there's rats or all, there's all sorts of problems. And then when he leaves, he gives them a redesigned menu, fresh shot of energy somehow, some way. And overnight, he redecorates the whole place, takes everything out and puts all brand new crap in this place overnight. He has 20 people come in and start bringing stuff in. It's pretty amazing, the transformations and the saving these businesses, because these mom and pop businesses, especially before the pandemic, I mean, that's what they did. That's their livelihood. That's how they eat. So it grossed me out at times, because I'm like, wow, maybe I shouldn't go to those type places. I try to go off the beaten path and try to visit mom and pop type establishments, especially if I'm on the road somewhere. Yeah. But if that's what they look like in the back, I don't know if I'm going to do that anymore.
Same formula with the Bar Rescue. And God, we've probably seen 50 of them so far. And it's the same formula. Come in, you guys suck, yell at you, turn you guys around. We're best friends. Remodel, grand opening, brand new. Everything's cool. Sales are up 20%. And then I like to see what they do afterwards. Some will change the name back if he's changed.
Yeah,
they'll change the name back. And a lot of places will be out of business. There was one guy that fought tooth and nail with him so much, and after the reveal, what was the guy's name? John Taffer. He just forget it. I'm out of here. And he just did did the reveal. He left. And 3 days later, the guy closed the restaurant. Restaurant's last bar just closed it 3 days later. Walked away.
Crazy.
Still empty.
Wow. It bothers me that because you and I have been in the food industry, and it bothers me that someone would have a place that, I mean, it's just so irresponsible to have that type of situation in your restaurant. I don't see how. I mean, you do a handful of things. You manage by wandering around. If you're a restaurant manager of any consequence, you check the coolers, the walk-ins, the dry food. You're constantly checking, touching, tasting. You're all over it. I don't understand how. I guess you're in that same confined space, and you're there working with three other people, and you're like you're the business. I guess you can have a bad day, but the stuff I'm talking about is been bad for a while.
Well, and a lot of these people will be drinking, and and they'll be permissive, and they'll let their bartenders drink, crap like that, and that's it. He'll come in and he'll weigh the bottles over the weekend, and he has a particular system he uses. And they'll be like, oh, over this weekend you lost $2,500, and that was like a reasonable number that they would lose on a weekend. So people are wondering why they're losing $4,000 a month, or they're paying out of their pocket $4,000 a month, and they're losing $2,500 on a weekend.
Back in the early '90s, I was with a restaurant chain. I'll just say it's a chain, and part of my gig there was to open the stores. And when I was at a certain store here or there, I would stay for a while, up to 6 months, a year, whatever. Sometimes I was just there just for the opening, sometimes for the month or what have you. But the thing I remember my bartenders. I always asked of them, because you could tell who the regulars were, even when you got a new place, you could tell who the regulars are. They just start showing up, and they have their same seats and all that stuff at the bar. And my rule is simple. Every regular gets their first round on us. It's free. And you still need to keep your liquor cost in line. So I don't care. You still need to figure out how to keep it in line, but you're going to treat those because that's your bread and butter at the bar. You ever walk into some of these places and there's nobody in the bar and you're like, what's wrong with this place? The first thing you see is an empty bar. Even all the tables may be full, but it's an empty bar. And I'm like, there's something wrong here. When I walk in and I see the bar, I expect to see a vibrant place. I expect to see people. I expect to see a good time. Give out free drinks to your regulars. That's how you fill your bar.
What if your regulars are trash?
Well, it wasn't that type of place, but I understand what you're saying. If it was priced accordingly so that certain people wouldn't come there all the time, like people that are there to shoot pool and raise hell, and their wife broke up with them. And not that there's anything wrong with those things. I'm just saying, these aren't your normal restaurant people who go out to sit at the bar for an hour or so, a couple hours. I'm talking about people that are there, people that come every day, people that help you turn the lights on. If you don't take care of your regular customer, like for instance, we got people listening in Canada right now. I brought up Canada last week to the best of my ability. I don't have the Toronto news station on here or anything, and then we know people in Seattle. I've snuck into Seattle. So you got to take care of your people, man. You got to take care of you even got to take care of the people you work with. Remember we used to have a giant appetizer in the Bomba Hut once a day?
Yeah.
See what I mean?
And people are like, what's a Bomba Hut? Yeah. Now, is it our friend in Seattle?
Yes.
Oh, hey, Paul.
Yeah. Congrats on the new place.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, you got something for me today?
Not really, man. Not much going on. Like I said, I looked around to see what kind of stuff is going on. Nothing exciting for the weekend. We did Brenda's second vaccine on Saturday. I did mine last night, and that's all taken care of. So that's the excitement for the week. Yeah, we went out to dinner last night. The kids raised hell, throwing freaking macaroni and cheese everywhere, and yeah, not much happening at the Taylor household. We cut the grass today.
Nice.
Now.
Well, I got some quick trivia for you if you want that.
I'm always up for trivia.
It's Motley Crue trivia too. I figured you'd enjoy that.
Really?
Which two members of Motley Crue went to the same high school?
Vince and Tommy. When Vince ran away from home, he went to Tommy's house and lived there for a while.
Oh, wait a second. This is one of those things where I have to plug in all the answers, and then they're going to tell me how I did afterwards.
Yeah, we'll do it.
All right, let's do that. Let's do this. All right. Which two members formed Motley Crue?
It was Nikki and Tommy.
Which band member suggested Motley Crue as a band name?
Mick Mars.
Which is the first album by Motley Crue produced by Bob Rock?
The first one produced by Bob Rock was Dr. Feelgood.
All right. I don't know whether to say good job yet or not. I don't know.
I can give you a little preamble, too, about each question. Like, Mick Mars came up with Motley Crue. When he was in a previous band, he was hanging out with a bunch of guys drinking beer, and someone walked in and goes, this is a motley-looking crew.
Nice.
And they came up with the little umlauts on top of the O and the U in Motley and Crue when they were drinking Lowenbrow. And it's, those are kind of cool.
Nice.
And, of course, it changes the entire pronunciation of Motley Crue to something that you wouldn't recognize, but it looks cool.
You know, there's a story similar to that with Cheap Trick, because apparently in that Wisconsin, Illinois area, when they were first starting out, they got a little raucous, and, you know, they play in a place with real low ceiling tiles, and Rick would knock them out and stuff like that. And the crowd was a bit raucous, and they would never be invited back to the same place. So they kept changing their name. And they kept changing their name, but the fans still knew what was going on. So they would show up anyway, you know. And one day there was somebody else who hadn't seen the band before and said, I don't know who these guys are, but they're using every cheap trick in the book. And there you go. So, yeah. Cool. All right. Who replaced Vince Neil after he departed from the band in 1991?
John Corabi.
Yes, sir. Which famous celebrity has not been linked to Tommy Lee? Pink, Heather Locklear, Pam Anderson, or Heather Thomas?
I'm going to go with Pink.
Yeah, I'm doing that too, just with the age difference there, I think.
Yeah. Even though it might be Heather Thomas, but there could be a connection with Pink's husband and Tommy, so I don't know. But
all right, so if you're listening to this on any service, Apple or Podbean or Anchor or any one of our affiliate places, we're everywhere. Wherever you find stuff.
Like
this is the part on the video. You're going to want to seek out the video because I'm going to show the Pamela Anderson Tommy Lee video during this part.
Yeah.
So just make sure you go check out the video too, okay? All right. Name Nikki Sixx's side project.
Which one?
Brides of Destruction, Chrome, Supernova, or Union?
Well, Union would be John Corabi. Supernova is Tommy Lee, and it's Brides of Destruction, which also had John Corabi in it. And,
wow.
Yeah, Tracy Guns.
All right, we're going to check the answers here in a second when we're done here. Which member of the crew was the first to enter rehab during the 1980s?
I think he had no choice. He freaking died. I'm guessing it would be Nikki. No, hold on. It was Vince.
All right. What month and year was the original Too Fast for Love album released?
81, April.
No, but there is 381 choices. The 4 choices are October 81, November 81, December 81, and January 82.
All right, let's go with the earliest.
October? What record label originally released Too Fast for Love? Leather, that's with a UR at the end, Elektra, Motley Records, or Warner Brothers?
It was Leather Records. Re-released by Elektra, then re-released again.
All right, I believe it. Slow down there. We're halfway through here. We're going to steam through these here, and we're going to pop up the answers here. In the early 1980s, which band member spit blood? I'm looking for Gene Simmons. He's not an option.
Nikki did it in the Carnival of Sins tour.
All right.
I'm going to guess Nikki Sixx.
All right. In the early 1980s, which band member was set on fire during shows? Again, I'm looking for Gene Simmons here. I'm seeing
Nikki. That one I know for sure.
Nikki?
Yep.
All right. What is the name of Motley's autobiography? These are too easy for you. What Beatles song did the Crew cover for their Shout at the Devil album?
Helter Skelter.
Mm-hmm. What hair band's video featured a cameo of Nikki and Tommy dressed as police officers? Was it Rat, Dokken, Whitesnake, or Poison?
Rat.
Vince Neil had a public feud with which lead singer? David Lee Roth, Ozzy Osbourne, Axl Rose, or David Coverdale?
Axl Rose.
Really? All right. Which celebrity is not linked to Nikki Sixx? Demi Moore, Vanity, Donna D'Errico, or Shannon Tweed?
What was the first one?
Demi Moore.
Shannon Tweed.
Yeah, that's who I would have went to, because isn't she married to Gene Simmons for a long time?
Yeah,
or together with him?
Yeah, she was a Playboy playmate, and they've been, then I realized that they were together for a real long time.
Yeah, she's like one of those B-list actresses, the top of the B-list maybe, or the movies that used to go straight to cable.
Yeah, bottom of the D-list.
Number 18 to 20 here, and then we're going to check out these answers on the Crew trivia. What did the Crew name their backup singers during the late 1980s and early 90s? Was it the Crewettes, Nasty Habits, Rattlesnake Shake, or Motley Mavens?
The Nasty Habits. One of them ended up marrying Mick Mars.
Ah.
Amy something or other.
Which band member was referred to as Cousin It from the Addams Family?
Mick Mars. His real name was Robert Allen Deal, or Bob Allen Deal. Initials BAD.
All right, and the last question. Aerosmith's Dude Looks Like a Lady was written about which crew member?
Vince.
All right, now I'm going to click the submit answers here, and we're going to find out the answers to this. 85%, 17 out of 20.
No.
The ones you got wrong, which celebrity has not been linked to Tommy Lee? Pink has been linked to Tommy Lee. It was Heather Thomas.
Okay. Well, that was my first choice, and I second guessed myself.
Right. And number 9, what month and year was the original Too Fast for Love album? It was November. We're off by a month, but I mean, it is what it is there.
You said the earliest, and then you said October. I'm like, oh, I thought it was November.
Yeah, no, I hear you. In the early 1980s, which band member spit blood? It was Mick Mars, not Nikki Sixx.
If you play it back, I changed my answer after I said Nikki. I did say no, Mick.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that. All right. Well, 18 out of 20, that's still pretty good. That's 90%.
It sucked. I should have done them all. Should have gotten them all. But yeah, that one with Pink. Yeah. Maybe she was on a hiatus with her husband. Oh, maybe it happened then. Who knows?
So I see you're donning your Monsters of Rock shirt. Which show was that for? Which ship? What year?
All right, this was 2019. So it was like I think the Mariner of the Seas, and that was God. You can see the back, kind of, who was there. But I know that Danger was there. They're from New Jersey, and Steve Brown, who is the guitar player for Trickster, was playing guitar for Danger. We got our picture. We got off the boat in Ocho Rios, and they had this little stand with the life preserver, and it says Mariner of the Seas on it. And we're walking out there, and Steve Brown walks by. I'm like, hey, Steve. He's like, what? We get a picture? And you know how, like, the people on the boat take your picture? So we got behind the thing, and we're like, I'll post that picture on the both Mike's Facebook page. So it was good. It was a good show. God.
So you know how we've talked about Buc-ee's in the past year. Lisa has run out of town here on a short visit up to the ATL, and apparently there's a Buc-ee's there, and she was slated to stop there this afternoon. I'm expecting a full report.
Well, cool. She drove?
Yeah, she prefers to drive up there because by the time you go to the airport, we're an hour and a half from the airport. By the time you have to be at the airport 2 hours early,
right?
I mean, for her destination is south of Atlanta, so it's probably just a little more than 6 hours.
And then
so
the renting of a car and whatnot.
No, she just takes her car. She doesn't.
Well, if she flew.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, no, she'd have somebody pick her up, and I prefer she fly, but I don't like the difference in the time. There's not as much savings to me unless you're getting like $100 flight or something stupid like that. I mean, but I want to be the guy that shows up to Buc-ee's where they have 104 gas pumps, and I want to walk in with $2 in my hand, and I'm going to drop it on the counter, cut in line, leave it on the counter, and go, I'm in the gray car, and walk out.
Yeah, well, let's put it this way: gas is like 30 cents cheaper a gallon there. I was surprised. It's like $2.58 the other day.
Well, it's funny. I ran into somebody in a business transaction, a legal business transaction. Don't get your hopes up. Don't at me. And I was selling something, and it was legal. And I met the guy up the street. I don't let anybody come to my house when I do stuff like that. So I met him up the street, and he had a autistic child with him, and the kid was nuts over Buc-ee's because they came from Daytona for this. So he's like, "Oh, we went to Buc-ee's," and he showed me he's got a Buc-ee's blanket, and he's got a Buc-ee's doll, and all this stuff. And the kid must have been like 12 years old, was raving about. I'm thinking about me. I don't think at 12 years old I was raving about the grandma's pantry convenience store I went to.
Yeah, no, my 3-year-old is beside himself. We go by it every day, and he loves it. Got sarsaparilla soda, which is
smart marketing. That's what McDonald's did. McDonald's did a study, and McDonald's is one of the leaders in this in the restaurant industry. Somewhere between 60 and 80%. I don't know the exact number. I don't remember it exactly, but 60 to 80% of the families that have kids, the kids decide where the family eats, not the adults.
Yep.
So there's something to that.
Yeah, and I would say probably half of the time, and maybe less than that because he's 3, and if it was the 2 of them, maybe they'd gang up on us. But Michael, Xander has an infatuation with Whataburger, the orange and white and everything. And
all right,
I've eaten there twice in the past 3 weeks because he's like, I want to go to Whataburger.
That's perfect. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
And it's not around the corner. It's about 20 miles away. But we're kind of in that direction anyway.
It's worth it.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good deal. So hopefully there's going to be some beach weather coming up here in a couple of days for you. Going to get back out to the beach?
We went to the beach last Friday. We're gonna try all the different beaches. The one we were at kind of had a lot of crushed shells instead of sand, so we're gonna try something more downtown, maybe south of St. Augustine, something with some more sand, where the kids can play more and not complain that their feet are getting.
Now the portion of the beach, I don't know, can you still drive on the beach in St. Augustine or just in some portions or what?
Some portions where you can, and they actually have a 4x4 beach where you can take a 4x4, which is probably not a good thing to take the Honda Pilot on that beach.
No, I've made a mistake like that in the past where I took a vehicle that was not equipped with 4x4 and the sign said only 4x4, and I was like, that's for those other guys, that's not for me. And sure enough, I had to get a 4x4 to drag me out of there.
Do you remember what kind of car it was?
Oh, yeah. Blue Buick Regal.
Oh, jeez.
Well, we started driving down the beach, and all of a sudden it bottomed out and stuck. So the tires could spin, but the car couldn't physically move because the whole bottom had bottomed out. And I was like, oh, my God.
I'll tell you a funny story about Blue Buick Regals.
Good.
Was it in the mid-90s? Mid to early 90s?
When
your situation happened?
Oh, no. This was just last week. No. It's quite a few years ago. I want to say maybe 04, 05.
Okay. In the early '90s, General Motors with their Buick, Oldsmobile, Chevy, Cadillac, they had this one color blue, a little darker than our color blue, and they had the Buick Regal, which
that was the color of mine. Yeah,
it was very similar to like the Chevy Cutlass or the Oldsmobile Cutlass and the Chevy Lumina, and all these cars looked the same. All these cars were the same color because they shared the color across the spectrum of the companies. I was on vacation, rented a Buick Regal, went to what was MGM Studios at Disney World. Then it's now what, Hollywood something or other, I don't know. And parked the car, got out of the car, went for the front gate, went and had a great day. My oldest at the time was probably 4 or 5, getting cranky around lunchtime. Figured, okay, let's head out of here lunchtime. We'll put him down for a nap. We get out to the parking lot, and I look at my ex. I go, "Do you know where we parked? No. Do you know what it's like to have a rental car where all the rental cars are blue Regals, Luminas,
nice,
and whatever Oldsmobile? It took us 25 minutes to find this car.
I bet.
Oh, what? And it was like 90 degrees outside, and coming from Jersey, we were just dying by the time we found this freaking car, and it was horrible. We're I'm standing up on lampposts with the clicker, beep, 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 trying to get the thing to honk.
Nice.
Nightmare. If you go to Disney, make sure you know where your car is. Take down your license plate number. Take a picture of it nowadays.
And by the way, if you want the best parking in the house at the Magic Kingdom, ask to park in Goofy 5.
Goofy 5.
Don't do that, folks. It's only for those folks that don't know anything. That's the furthest possible parking from the front gate.
Okay.
I used to tell that to all my great customers.
Yeah. At the Lame Tourist Cafe.
We are out of time already. Do you believe it?
Lord, goes so quick.
I know. Well, maybe we'll add some time, or maybe we'll add some shows here in the future. But remember, you can always find us where you find stuff. So if you're listening to us on a platform that you don't normally, go to your other platform. We're there. We're practically everywhere. And if we're not, you just send me an email, Mike_Sofka at bothmikes.com, and I will make sure we're part of that platform. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel there as well. I don't know, am I missing anything?
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Tell your mom. Get your mom. Yeah, everybody gets one more person to subscribe, listen, follow, check us out on Facebook. Everybody gets one more person. We'll be up to 10 in no time. Yeah.
Yep. I'll buy you an ice cream cone.
There you go. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. We are both Mikes. Thank you so much. We'll talk with you next time. All right.